happy New Year's Day. It's January, and listen, this scenery is beautiful. You need to see it for yourself. All right, so let's have a look, see. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Like, you wanted to see this morning, literally woke up, opened the blinds, and the sun was shining directly in here. It was absolutely stunning. That to me is a good omen. I actually wanted to go out today, but I started feeling anxious again because of all the bullying that's still going on. And it's getting to a point now where it's getting to that point, you know, that the TIs are familiar with. It's that stage that TIs are familiar with. So instead of actually just living our lives the way we want to live it, we're always thinking on the defensive now because of the way that we're being bullied and because of the way that we're being stalked, right? So we're always thinking on the defensive. We're always like, because I know that those fucking idiots, they think that if I make a live about them, then they've won or something. But the thing is that I want them to hurt. So I ignore everything that they do. And I know it hurts more for me to ignore them. I know that they're going to go crazy if I ignore them. So I ignore them. But this is the thing now. Then it becomes about them. If I don't play their fucking game and I decide, no, I'm going to live my life and I'm going to get on with my business, I'm going to do what I need to do. And if I decide to do that instead, then they're just playing on their own and they've already lost. Because what's the point in playing a game if you're the only one playing? So what I don't want to do is have all my actions dictated by what the perps decide to do, because they already get enough attention. And it doesn't matter how much attention you give them. Either they're being paid to harass you or they're that obsessed with you that they're not going to let up anyway. So it doesn't matter how much attention you give them. They're not going to be satisfied. There's no point in thinking defensively. There's no point in saying, like, the only time when it's worth thinking defensively is when it affects your finances. Beyond that, there is absolutely no point in thinking defensively when it comes to the perps. None. The only thing that you can make these gang stalkers do is make them back up what they say. That's the first thing you can do. Because if they can't back up what they say, and they can't take responsibility for the shit that they do, you've already got them. Remember, I've come online and I've spoken the truth about literally everything that's going. Hey Tony. I've spoken the truth. Hey, thank you. Happy New Year to you too. So you've seen my videos. I've literally spoken the truth about everything that's going on, about the things that I've said, about, you know, the things that I've done, and, you know, that honestly I wouldn't take back for all the diamonds in the world. The only thing I wish is that I would have just actually done it rather than talk about it. But I'm not sorry for that shit. Absolutely not. Because when you look at the evidence online. Look at everything that I've showed you. I've told you the truth about everything that I've done. I've got all kinds of evidence that I've spoken the truth to social services, not even social services, but the council. I told the council the truth. I told the police. I even told the police the truth. When the police came over here and said that I was banging on the door, I said, no, I went further than that, mate. I threatened to kick her ass. So everybody knows that I'm not lying. Like, I don't need to lie. Because I'm not covering anything sinister over here. I'm not covering up anything. Oh, I know you believe me because I know you know how it works. So I don't have nothing to hide over here. I've spoken the truth about, you know, being violent or being threatening or what have you. Because if you get targeted like that long enough, you're going to want to beat somebody's ass. I've been following you for quite some time. I know you're being harassed without a doubt. Gang stalking is real. It isn't mental illness. Tony, you know that. And I know that. Mental health knows that. The police know that. Everybody knows that this gang stalking thing is not a mental illness. Everybody knows that. But because there's so much money involved in actually doing it, nobody's going to speak the truth. And they're especially not going to speak the truth. They'd rather try to make you look guilty and try to make you look like a mad person than never admit the truth, because they honestly think, this is the thing, this is what happens when people think they're untouchable. They have blood on their hands. Yeah. Tony, without a doubt, they have blood all the way on their hands. It's not even a joke. The shit is not even a joke. They have blood all the way on their hands. I could never do this to anyone. I think, like, I'm in two minds about stuff like that when people say that, because I used to say to myself, oh, I would never do this to people, or, I never sell my soul. But you have to remember that gang stalking works with flaws that are already there. I've got people obsessing over me to the point where it's literally, it's not even creepy, it's dangerous. But like on a lesser degree, like I've treated other people in a lesser way than, the way people treat me. I've treated other people like that to a lesser degree. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I can't say in my heart of hearts that I would never do this. I don't know for sure because I've never been in that situation. What I do know is that, ironically, because my bad behavior was treated so much more harshly, it allowed me to escape, like, being that person in the end, that person that I could have done, that person that I could have become, that I could have turned into, I never turned into, because people wanted to point out my flaws in order to weaponize it against me. But they fucked themselves up, because now I'm the one with the truth on my side. Because, like, they robbed me, like, abuse literally robbed me of all my self-preservation skills and all my ability to sort of ignore people and what they do. So basically, for somehow and some way, I've been able to turn that around and use that to my advantage. Because that's what I always do. When somebody comes at me with some bullshit, I always turn it around and I always use it to my advantage. So the fact that I was held to higher standards than other people and yet dehumanized more than other people, that actually became one of my strengths. That is the only reason why I'm not a gang stalker, is because what people did to me, I found a way to make it work for me. And that's the reason why I'm a TI and not a perp right now. If I truly dislike someone that bad, I'd beat their ass or something. Oh, Tony, on some real shit, man. If I truly dislike someone that bad, I'd beat their ass or something. But not this cowardly stalking by proxy bullshit. Okay, the thing is, Tony, hatred is a funny thing. Because I said hatred is a funny thing because you never know how much you hate someone. You never know how you're going to react to hating someone unless you're actually in that situation. What I realize is that behavior of mine that seemed really combative, like mimicking somebody or taking the piss out of somebody, usually I only do that with people I like. I very rarely imitate people that I don't like. Like they really have to be obsessively seeking attention for me to do that. So all the things that I would do to people that I actually liked, made fun of them, like roast them a little bit. I realized when I did stuff like that, I didn't do it out of hatred unless they made it really hard to ignore them. But when I really hate someone, I don't want them I don't even want to think about them. That's one of the reasons why after a certain time, when the perps start kicking off again, I just don't pay attention to it, because I hate them so much. It literally repels me on every level of my being. Like, every level of my being is repelled. My fucking body, my mind, my soul. I find them repellent, so I just ignore them. So ignoring them is not only a form of gaining power back, it's also how I genuinely feel. If I don't like you, I don't want you in my space. I don't even want to think about you. I don't even want to think about you. I don't want to talk about you. I don't want you in my life. It's as simple as that. I just don't want you in my life. If I don't like you, I just don't want you there. I just don't want you there. Stay out of my life. Get out and stay out. You know when you really hate someone, you don't want them harmed. You just want them gone. You don't even want them killed. You don't even want them killed, really. You just want them gone. Like, you don't even want them harmed. Nothing like that. You just want them away because they're so unpleasant. You just want them away from you. So when I really get to that space of really hating someone, Tony's gone now, so I'm just explaining it to you guys. When you get to that space of really hating someone, you just don't want to deal with it. You just don't want to deal with it because they're so evil and so unpleasant. You don't want that in your space. You know, I posted a picture of this beautiful scenery that was outside my window, and somebody brought up an FBI truck, and I'm thinking to myself, like, seriously, the perps get enough attention as it is. They don't need more. Knock it off. I actually started, being a smart ass about it, because I'm thinking, I hate the perps, so why would I want to talk about them? The only reason I do it is so that I can get it off my chest and talk about how I feel and talk about how the torture affects me, so that other TIs know they're not alone. That's the only reason I do it. I don't do it because I actually like talking about them. Nobody, who would want to talk about people who harasses you for 2 months straight? What kind of people would they be? Why would you want to talk about them? Why would you want to talk about people who not only did that, but tried to turn the whole community against you, on top of everything else, on top of lying, and on top of doing the most serious shit out of petty revenge, on top of harassing somebody for 2 months? Why would you? I don't understand why anybody would want attention from that person. No. You don't even want to talk. You don't even want to talk about, not even to get back at them. You don't even want to talk about it. When you're dealing with that kind of relentless hatred, when that hatred reaches your heart, you think to yourself, no, I don't even want to harm them. I just want them gone. Nobody wants that in their space. Nobody wants that in their space. Not even to hit them. At the same time, I feel like I do blame myself a lot for how people treat me, and I'll explain why. The reason I do that, the reason I say that, is because what upsets me is not what these people do. It's not what the perps do or say that upsets me. It's how I react that upsets me. When I ignore them, and I know that I ignore them, when I'm ignoring them and I know I'm doing it because, again, hatred is making me ignore them. Hatred is making me just pass them by. It's not cowardice, it's pure hatred that's making me do that. Even though I know it's hatred making me ignore them, I know that simply ignoring them is not going to make them leave me alone, which makes me feel a bit of a complex. Like, every time I get gaslit in the street or I get taunted by somebody, the person that I am angry at the most is myself, because I get angry for not choking them out. Because I know what's going on and I know what they're trying to do. So I actually get angry for being disrespected like that and not choking these people out where they stand. I go into a situation, I ignore these poisonous people, or just say a little smart shit on Twitter or something, but I'm actually angry with myself for not choking them out where they stand. I'm angry with myself for not doing that. That's where the anger actually comes from. It doesn't come from how people treat me. It comes from how I treat them. I think to myself that even though me ignoring them is born from hatred, I feel like that's still too merciful, honestly, because literally they're killing people. They don't give a fuck. In fact, they enjoy it when people are hurt. They enjoy it when people are miserable. Anyone other than them that's miserable, they enjoy that shit. So they don't care how you feel. They don't care what's going on in your life. All they know is that they've got the opportunity to act like a dickhead, and they're going to take it. They've got the opportunity to act like a fucking hemorrhoid, and they're going to take that opportunity. That's what they do know. That's the only thing they do know. They don't give a damn about how you feel. They don't give a damn about how it affects you. All they care about is their own jealousy, their own fucking insecurities, or whatever it is they've been blackmailed and bribed with. They don't give a fuck about you, what happens to you. Fear is literally the only thing that makes them think twice. But again, what do you do when you hate someone so much? You don't even want to make them afraid of you. You just want them gone. You don't want to harm them. You just want them gone. You don't want them dead. You just want them gone. You don't even want to touch them to get revenge on them. You just want them gone. What do you do when that hatred is conflicting with, people thinking that you're weak even though you're not? Well, like, what do you do then? I hate coming home now. It's getting to a point now where I hate coming home. This is my home. This is my fucking flat. Look at that fucking view. Look at that fucking view. Because I'm sleeping here in the front room, this is what I wake up to every fucking morning. This is what I wake up to every morning. This beautiful fucking scenery is what I wake up to every single morning. And then when I walk outside my door, there's farmland around here. Do you know how beautiful this place is? If you people knew how beautiful, how gorgeous this place is, you have no idea, but I can't enjoy it. Why? Because I'm dealing with some people who fucked up, who can't accept that they fucked up, and now they're trying to take it out on me. Every time I come home, I get like my knees, my legs are strengthening now as I say this. The thought of coming home, there's this whole fucking anxiety that just floods my body, turns my legs into jelly, turns my arms into jelly. People don't appreciate the TIs, like I said, we're on the defensive. We're so focused on not letting the perps win that we don't admit that, yeah, this is torture and the torture is going to affect us. So every time I come home, my legs turn to jelly, my arms turn to jelly, like my whole body is shaking. Because I know that I'm going to come home to people taunting me and people trying to make me feel like shit over their fuck-ups. I know that's going to happen. And I know I'm going to ignore them because I hate them so much. Because I don't even want them in my mind. So I know I'm just going to ignore them because of how much I hate them. But then I'm going to feel ashamed for ignoring them. I'm not beating the adult's ass. I'm going to hate myself for not doing it. So there's all these complex feelings in the way. There's all these complex feelings going on every single time I come home. That is how terrible these people are. That is how terrible these people are. When I come home, I go through these complex emotions every single time. And it affects my kidneys as well. My legs have been swelling. My legs have been swelling because I have kidney issues. And the kidney issues, yes, I have to admit right now, I have been fired in the kidneys before. I have had, kidney issues before. I have been fired in the kidneys before. But when you get angry, like, what's the first thing that's affected? It comes from your liver, yes, but it affects your kidneys. I have water retention in my legs. Like, I'm 36 years old. I'm not supposed to be having water retention in my fucking legs. So this anger, all this anxiety that I'm constantly dealing with from people being obsessed and harassing me and talking shit and fucking lying, I have to deal with that. That's stored in my kidneys every single time, and that's having an effect on my legs. I'm getting cellulitis because of all this nonsense. So it's not just about anxiety and getting angry and yelling and screaming. It's literally affecting my physical health. This is why I have to get it out of me. This is why I have to get it out of me. It's because the thing is, it's affecting my body. That's one of the reasons why If I can't go out for a walk, if I can't become physically active, then I have to get it out of me with a live. And what that does is that it keeps my stress levels down. It keeps my stress levels down because I get it out of me. Talking isn't the best thing to do. The best thing to do is physical activity. So like exercise or some shit. Yeah. So going out for a walk helps. Exercising helps. But hear what? I don't want to run into these people and feel those feelings all over again. I don't want to walk into them and feel guilty for not beating a mum's ass. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that. And I don't want my body to catch static from me feeling that. I don't want that. And I go through that every single time the gang stalkers start their shit. Health problems, anxiety, all that type of shit. And I end up blaming myself because I didn't beat nobody's ass. Like that's the thing that nobody tells you about being a victim. It's the guilt. Because every time somebody gets abused or something, when people hear about like victim stories when it comes to harassment and hate crimes and anything to do with abuse, everybody likes to act like the answer is so fucking obvious until they're in that situation. And that's another thing that kind of compounds upon your guilt. Everybody acts like, oh, when people get crazy, you're supposed to get crazy back. Okay, well, what if your emotions don't allow you that? What if the only thing your hatred wants is for the negative thing to be out of your life rather than harmed or anything like that? What, does that make you a coward? Does it make me a coward because instead of fucking choking these people out every time they gaslight me or gang stalk me, I just want to ignore it because I hate them so much? I literally don't want them in my brain space. I hate them that much. Like, do you know what I mean? And as for me doing lives, like, me being honest enough to say this, like, I can already feel my legs strengthening. I can already feel the tension leaving my body. I almost wasn't going to do this live because I didn't want some fucking... I didn't want some fucking... some fucking reprobates to feel like they'd won. I was actually going to avoid doing this live and let all this anger sit inside me. I was actually going to do that because I didn't want anybody to think they'd won. Fuck that. If I need to get stuff out of my system so that I can focus on my business, because I'm working on business behind the scenes. That's what nobody knows, right? I'm not just working on Real Justice Tarot. I've got other stuff in the pipeline that I want to work on, and I can't do it if this anger and anxiety is sitting inside of me and I haven't released it. And then on top of that, there are other TIs who are going through what I'm going through. And I know that as long as this video is, and as much ranting there is on this video, I know that they're going to be able to identify with me. And I know that their tension is going to be released because they're listening to somebody who is telling them how they feel in real time. So I know on top of me releasing all my stress and all my tension, there are going to be other people who are like, you know what, I feel you. Why should I deny them that just because some other dickheads think they've won if I come online? Why should I deny anybody that? Why should I deny anybody that? Why should I deny myself that? Fuck all that shit. Got people literally murdering me and torturing me to death and trying to act like that me getting on my fucking live is a win. Stop. My live is saving my life. My live is the reason why when I was last sectioned, like about 4 fucking years ago, I stayed in for 2 weeks rather than 6. My live saved my life. Losing saved my life. Let them think what they want. Let them think what they want. But the thing is, they know I'm ignoring them because I can't. I hate them. I hate them that much. I don't even want them in my head, and that's gonna hurt worse than me getting on alive. But anyway, it is the 1st of January. I was going to go out, I wanted to go out. Enjoy the weather while it's holding up because that water looks very, very calm. I don't want to make the same mistake that I made like last year and just be staying indoors all the time. I think it's that New Year energy, you know what I mean? You get that New Year energy. It says, hang on a sec. Targeted Tony says, we'll be at 95% on online TIs or fakes or perps. I don't know, man. I don't know what you see. The thing about the TI community is that we throw out all these numbers, and I'm like, I've done the same thing as well, because as TIs we feel like we need concrete numbers when it comes to statistics or stuff like that. So we just throw any old number out there. But for me, it's just like, how do you know? How do you actually know? Because the thing is, the way this behavioral control works, people can trigger each other without realizing. So it's not as simple as saying, there are people who make it really obvious, don't get me wrong, but not every TI is a good person. And not every TI who is a bad person is a perp. So we have to kind of bear that in mind too. Like, it's not as simple as that person's a perp or that person's a perp. Like, it's not that simple. And we need to stop throwing numbers out there like it actually means something, because we don't know for sure. I know that from the people that I've spoken to, there are hundreds of TIs out there just like myself, at least. Like, the TIs are not a small number. And given the COVID situation, and let's talk about that, by the way, everything that I said was going to happen years ago has come to pass. I said that there was going to be a situation where foreign trade was affected, that it was going to be a situation where people in every country were trapped like rats within their own territory, so that the government can basically depopulate while most of the population are remained in these countries. So with people being locked off from other countries, it allows the government to purge its own nation. So I predicted that, and it's come to pass. Predicted that years ago. Because it's been done before. They cut off foreign travel. You have people trapped like rats. So, whilst they're trapped, you turn the fucking gas on, innit? That's what you do. And I predicted that years ago. And they've been doing that with TIs in different ways, trying to do that with TIs. Trapping us like rats, keeping us isolated, and then turning the gas on. I predicted this shit would happen. So, that's fair. Yeah, no, I predicted that. I predicted this long ago. I don't think I was even the only one, because it's happened before. So, I mean, shit. Isolate people, turn the gas on. It's not difficult. And people will go along with anything. So, of course, it's become incredibly easy for the government to do. But yeah, everything that's happening to the public has happened to us first. But even knowing that, even knowing there are targeted individuals globally, because they are global, because a lot of this shit, it started in third world countries first before it reached over here. When it reaches over into Western countries, there has been a refinement process that has happened in other countries first before they reached here, before they reached the Western world. So I know for definite that there are targets globally. It's not even a debate. But how many for sure? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't give you a number. Couldn't give you a number. I know it's intergenerational, I know that, but I couldn't give you a number. I know that just like perps are intergenerational, targets are intergenerational, but I couldn't give you an exact number of how many TIs there are. I know this shit is global though, because it involves major corporations, and it involves intelligence services and black ops. So I know this shit is global. We're talking about surveillance technology, defense weaponry, pharmaceuticals. You know how much bank those things make? And you know they can't fucking sell their products without testing them first. So they're not just testing it on animals. They've got to test it on humans as well to see how it functions. How are they going to do that if they don't have the targeted community to do that to? This doesn't make any sense. They're willing to... what I don't get, right, is that they're willing to do that to black people. They're willing to do that to a certain extent, homosexual people or queer folk. They're willing to do that to anybody who doesn't fit into a white supremacist society. And yet, as soon as you turn around and talk about TIs, suddenly that's crazy. What? You mean to tell me people are willing to experiment on black people, experiment on queer folk, experiment on women, experiment on basically anybody that's a threat to the status quo, give them the roughest and most brutal treatment, and then when TIs talk about going through the same shit, suddenly that's crazy. Stop it. Just stop it. And when you talk about acoustic weaponry, they really want to... It is Stasi. You're right. And then they want to talk about mental health, right? They want to talk about how it's a mass psychotropic illness. They've got these quacks talking about how targeted individuals around the world are suffering from a mass psychotropic illness. Where the fuck did the illness come from? From a puff of smoke? Sound torture goes back as far as ancient China. No, not even that far back. Way before that. Because Aborigines, there's an Aboriginal so-called curse, right? When they sing in certain frequencies and tones, it can literally kill a person. And yet that's one of the... Aborigine people are the oldest people in human history. They are the oldest human beings in human history. And yet they were able to figure out frequencies and tones that could kill a person. That's before they even knew what they were doing. So if sound torture goes back to the original people of the entire planet, then why the fuck wouldn't sound torture be used now? Even the music that we listen to, 440 degree hertz, it might reawaken our brains at a certain level, but it degrades the rest of our bodies. If you look at 440 degrees hertz and its effect on the body, like how the fuck would sound torture not be used to control, manipulate, or even kill people? Why wouldn't it be used now? That makes no goddamn sense. His videos are some of the first that come up when researching gang stalking. Whose videos? Did I mention a name? Did I mention a name? I've got to wait for this person to come back, but no, you mean to tell me that the first original people can sing a song that can kill a person, and yet you want to tell me that sound torture don't exist? Sound literally has calories in it. How the fuck are you going to tell me that can't be used to torture anybody? And that's for directed energy weaponry. You got laser technology. It's not that difficult to figure out. You got infrared technology. It's not difficult to figure out. None of these things are difficult to figure out. None of these things at all. And you want to talk about mental health. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You unresearched, power-hungry, fucking... You know what? Don't even let me go there. Let me get in my zone. We're going to go live today. We're going live. The fuck? Yeah, we're going live, mate. Don't fucking tell me you got the answer. You ain't got the answer, Sway. They're chatting shit. It's funny how usually the most researched people and the people who are the most critically thinking are called the ones that are called crazy. It's funny how that works, isn't it? That has to have been the most effective way of keeping people stupid since time immemorial, man. But yeah, I'm going out. I feel confident. I feel confident after that read. Yeah, I'm going out, mate. But yeah, I mean, New Year's Day, it's a beautiful day. I mean, might as well go out. Why deny myself? I've had my daily therapy. I've been talking with you guys. You know, set the new year in with some honesty and some raw truth. And hopefully, you know, hopefully it wasn't just me whining on camera, and hopefully you got something out of this and it kind of made you understand that you're not alone, and, you know, you're not alone. You're really not. It's hard. This shit is hard. And for going through all of this crap, you're stronger than you know. Anyway, I love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.